The Divinity of Christ, an Exposé by Josh Alfred. Across cultures and centuries, gods have been defined by their powers. Zeus hurled thunderbolts from the skies. Odin saw across realms with a single, all-seeing eye. Shiva could destroy and recreate the cosmos with a dance. These beings, carved into myth and memory, astounded humanity with their command over nature, life, and death. But what of Christ? Born in a manger, not a palace. Raised by a carpenter, not enthroned in Olympus. Yet his miracles rival, and often surpass, those of any ancient god. He walked on water. He turned water into wine, not for glory, but for love. He healed the sick, gave sight to the blind, calmed storms with a word, and raised the dead, not with thunder, but with compassion. In this documentary, we examine the divine powers of Jesus of Nazareth, not as metaphor or mere legend, but as real accounts of superhuman feats. What makes his powers unique? How do they compare to the gods of old? And what do they reveal about a being called both man and God? This is not just the story of miracles, this is the story of a force unlike any other. A force driven not by conquest, but by redemption. A power veiled in humility, yet unmatched in history. 1. All-knowing and omnipresence. What does it mean to know everything? In ancient lore, gods were revered for their sight beyond sight, their ability to watch from the heavens, to read the thoughts of men, to see across vast distances. Odin needed 2 ravens to fly across the world and whisper its secrets. Are watched from the sun. Even the Greek pantheon required oracles and seers to access deeper truths. But Jesus needed no such intermediaries. His vision was not borrowed or second-hand, it was immediate, personal, and absolute. He could see into the secret places of the human heart. He could perceive sin not confessed, prayers not spoken aloud, and moments no one else witnessed. This is no trick of clairvoyance. It is the expression of divine omniscience, the ability to know all things. And with it, Christ demonstrates not only knowledge of events and people far away, but an omnipresent awareness that transcends physical space. What's more astonishing, this power is never used for show. It's used to call, to convict, and to heal. In the next moments, we explore 2 profound encounters, with Nathanael under the fig tree, and with a woman caught in sin, where Jesus' all-knowing nature is revealed, not through spectacle, but through intimacy. John 1 verses 47 to 50. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he made a statement that startled the young man to his core. "I saw you under the fig tree," Jesus said, a moment no one else could have witnessed, a location Jesus had not physically visited. This was more than intuition, it was remote sight. A divine awareness that pierced the limits of space and time. In ancient mythologies, gods like Horus or Odin were praised for their far-seeing eyes. But Jesus, without talisman or throne, sees a man in secret prayer, miles away, and with that single sentence, reveals his knowing heart and his supernatural perception. This was not spectacle. It was a personal revelation, a quiet miracle aimed at awakening faith, not fear. And for Nathanael, it worked. In a heartbeat, he declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God." John 8 verses 3 to 11. A woman, dragged into the public eye, stands accused of adultery, a crime punishable by death under ancient law. Her accusers demand judgment. But Jesus, silent at first, bends down and writes in the dust, a moment shrouded in mystery. Then he speaks, "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone." With those words, Jesus reveals a power beyond mere justice. He sees not just the woman's past, but the hidden guilt of every man around her. One by one, they retreat, exposed by a truth only divinely discerned. What is this ability? It is more than moral wisdom. It is a piercing insight into the hearts of humanity, a trait claimed by no mythological god in such quiet, surgical grace. Unlike the gods of Olympus, who punish to prove their dominance, Christ's power humbles the proud and lifts the shamed. He neither denies sin nor condemns the sinner. His verdict, go, and sin no more. This is not just knowledge, it is mercy fused with omniscience. A divine eye that sees all, and still chooses grace. 2. Foreseeing the future. To see the future, to truly know what will be, has always been one of the rarest signs of divinity. In the myths of old, gods occasionally gave glimpses of fate, but always through riddles, dreams, or cryptic prophecy. Jesus, by contrast, speaks of the future with calm certainty, not in poetry, but in plain truth. He knows what others will say before they speak. He knows how events will unfold long before they begin. And when he speaks of the future, it is not speculation, it is declaration. Let us look at 3 powerful moments when Jesus demonstrates his supernatural foresight: a betrayal foretold, a death embraced, and a world's destiny revealed. Peter's denial foretold. Luke 22 verses 33 to 34. 33 Peter said to him, Lord, I am ready to go with you both to prison and to death. 34 Jesus said, I tell you, Peter, the rooster will not crow this day, until you deny 3 times that you know me. Peter, the most outspoken disciple, swore loyalty to the end. But Jesus knew the truth before it was lived. He named the moment, the number, even the rooster's crow. Not to shame Peter, but to prepare him, to prove that even failure couldn't cancel grace. His own death foretold. Mark 8 verse 31. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed, and after 3 days rise again. Most men flee from death. Jesus walked toward his. Repeatedly, he predicted his arrest, his trial, his crucifixion, and his resurrection. No guesswork. No fear. Only a divine awareness of the road ahead, and the courage to walk it. Matthew 24 verses 6 to 8, 30. 6. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but the end is not yet. 7. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, all these are but the beginning of the birth pains. 30. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Unlike the cryptic omens of myth, Jesus' description of the end times is both specific and sweeping. He speaks of wars, disasters, betrayals, and cosmic signs. But his vision is not one of chaos alone, it is a promise, that the Son of Man will return in glory, and justice will prevail. His prophecy is not fear-mongering. It's the blueprint of redemption. 3. Healing the centurion's servant, healing from a distance, Matthew 8. 5 to 10, 13. 5 When he had entered Capernaum, a centurion came forward to him, appealing to him. 6 Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home, suffering terribly. 7 And he said to him, I will come and heal him. 8 But the centurion replied, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only say the word, and my servant will be healed. 10 When Jesus heard this, he marveled and said, Truly, I tell you, with no one in Israel have I found such faith. 13 And to the centurion Jesus said, Go, let it be done for you as you have believed. And the servant was healed at that very moment. Jesus didn't even need to be near the man to heal him. With a single spoken word, from miles away, the servant was made whole. No herbs, no rituals, just authority. This healing was not just a miracle of the body, it was a miracle of faith, from a Roman outsider who somehow recognized Christ's divine command. Healing the woman with the issue of blood, healing by faithful touch. Mark 5. 25 to 29, 30, 34, ESV. 25 And there was a woman who had had a discharge of blood for 12 years. 26 And who had suffered much under many physicians. 27 She had heard the reports about Jesus and came up behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. 28 For she said, "If I touch even his garments, I will be made well." 29 And immediately the flow of blood dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of her disease. 30 And Jesus, perceiving in himself that power had gone out from him, immediately turned about. 34 And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well, go in peace, and be healed of your disease." 12 years of suffering ended in an instant, not with a command, but with a silent, desperate touch. She reached not for his attention, but for his power. And it was enough. Jesus felt it leave him, not as loss, but as love. He called her daughter, and in doing so, healed far more than her body. The divine wisdom of Christ. Power through perfect teaching. In a world of competing voices, rabbis, philosophers, scribes, and prophets, Jesus of Nazareth stood alone. Unlike others who sought authority from tradition or lineage, Jesus spoke with a self-evident clarity and power that rendered his opponents speechless. His words were not merely wise, they were supernaturally precise, morally piercing, and spiritually transcendent. This is no ordinary intellect on display. This is a power uniquely divine, the ability to silence the strongest minds not through domination, but through undeniable truth. In Matthew 22 verse 46, we read, "No one was able to answer him a word, nor from that day did anyone dare to ask him any more questions." This was not a moment of intimidation. It was the effect of divine wisdom on human limitation. In a series of rapid-fire theological challenges, Jesus dismantled the traps of the Pharisees, Sadducees, and Herodians. Each sect armed with questions designed to expose, embarrass, or incriminate him. Yet instead of faltering, Jesus exposed their ignorance and hypocrisy with answers so penetrating that his challengers had no reply. For example, when asked about taxes, a question meant to force him into either political rebellion or religious betrayal, he responded, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." Matthew 22 verse 21. "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away." Matthew 24 verse 35. In the end, Jesus' divine teaching was not just one of many powers, it was the very expression of his divinity. His words shaped reality, unmasked deception, and endured beyond death. Where other so-called gods of myth claimed power through spectacle, Jesus revealed his through wisdom. A power not forged in fire or thunder, but in the unshakable truth that only God could speak. Jesus is worthy of being loved, emulated, and worshipped because his life exemplified perfect love, compassion, and humility. He showed unwavering dedication to the well-being of others, offering forgiveness even to his enemies, and never compromising on his divine purpose to redeem humanity. His teachings, rooted in truth and wisdom, continue to inspire and challenge us to live selflessly, seeking justice and mercy. Above all, his sacrificial death on the cross and victorious resurrection revealed his power over sin and death, affirming his divine nature and his unyielding commitment to humanity's salvation. Jesus is not merely a figure to admire from a distance, he is the embodiment of perfect goodness, deserving our deepest love, devotion, and reverence. Choosing to follow Christ is a decision that can be made at any point in your life, regardless of where you've been or what you've experienced. It's not bound by age, past mistakes, or personal circumstances. Jesus offers a fresh start and unconditional grace to all who seek him. Whether in moments of joy, crisis, or uncertainty, his invitation remains open, calling you into a relationship of love, purpose, and transformation.